shit just got real.
Ladies and gentlemen, the third and final sneak peek has dropped, and I am at my wit's end here trying to contain my excitement. Agents, a new mutant supervillain has arrived. Who can stop this bloodthirsty mutant from his rampage? And then at the bottom it says, check out the powers of this new supervillain who has carbonadium tentacles within his arms. Let's take a look at the sneak peek. It's a schmovie. It's a schmovie, baby. We're back. They did a sequel to Cable shooting the tier 4 bullet at Strife. And it is cinema. All over your face. Cinema. Shit, all over my face. That's so badass. Ooh. Ooh, the 1-2 punch. Oh, shit. Kind of like Magneto-ish, but telekinesis. Let's go! Let's go! There's so much to unpack here. There's so much to unpack here. Ladies and gentlemen, they fucking did it. They fucking did it. Omega Red is coming to Marvel Future Fight. The Twisted Super Soldier. I'm so excited. This is going to be a banger. Omega Red, finally in the game. Verdict, buddy. I know you're hype. You deserve it. You've been waiting a long time for this, as have I, as have so many others. It's time to schwang and bang, baby. It's time to schwang and bang. Anyways, I'm very excited, as you can tell. So let's break it down. So this is a continuation of the sneak peek that was first dropped, where Cable shoots the tier 4 bullet, and then the sneak peek cut out right here, presumably to, hide some sort of explosion. Now, there is an explosion, but it doesn't matter because Strife was not harmed. And then Strife makes his way into this building, particularly this room that Cable was protecting. Now, you actually see his shadow come down here, right there, before he's actually come down. So these scenes are sort of played side by side, even though they sort of happen at the same time. There's a Strife there, and he fucking launches. He just launches Cable like a rag doll into the door, and then he opens up the thing. Now, okay, so here's the thing. Here's the thing here, guys. First little Easter egg. There's a room that says danger on the front. Let me say that again. There's a room, and the door is labeled danger. So you could call this a danger room. That's right. Some people are taking this as a clue or a hint or some sort of, fever dream that we're getting Danger Room to come back to the game. For those of you guys that don't remember, Danger Room was introduced in 2019 or something like that. Anyways, it was a game mode. It was PvE, sort of PvE, PvP. It was like a racing game mode sort of thing, but it quickly devolved into one-shotting constantly, and the only sort of interesting tech in that game mode was using Dormammu lead for your team. That was literally the only interesting tech, and I can't imagine how much faster the game mode would have been now. It was already a one-shot fiesta when Moonstone was introduced to the game. And then Human Torch a couple months later. I can't imagine how much more of a one-shot it would be now with tier 4s. Basically, the game mode got power creeped to hell. They stopped releasing Danger Room characters like Professor X and Negasonic. The last one they released was Abomination, so that just didn't work. And so then they axed the game mode. Presumably, by the way, what I think a lot of people miss is that they axed, or they cut out the game mode Danger Room because nobody was playing it. That's, in my opinion, why they would do something like that. So I don't see them bringing it back. Would I like them to bring back Danger Room if it was different? So technically, no. I don't want them to bring back Danger Room because I don't want them to bring back a failed game mode, right? I want them to always make successful things. So, if they're going to make a successful sort of revamped Danger Room that people are actually going to play, and I can't say that's going to happen without knowing how that would be, then maybe. But otherwise, I think this is just massive coping. So he opens up the door. You see the red eyes. It's absolutely sick. It looks so dope. Omega Red comes out. Very cool intro. I have to say, the sneak peek team, once again, absolutely banged in my mouth on this one. Crazy cool. Omega Red looks pissed, which is really, really nice. If you guys don't know, Omega Red is like a serial murderer. He's a psychopath. Yeah, he's a mean, bad, irredeemable dude. Like, he's not even... You'd think like, oh, like Juggernaut? No, Juggernaut has like some redeemable qualities. Juggernaut has had moments of clarity where he's like, the Sidorak and like my brother Charles and stuff. Omega Red is not like that. This dude is bad news through and through. Complete psycho. And then Cable has gotten up by this point, and he's charging up the FU cannon. Now, for those of you that are eagle-eyed, you will know that this is the same cannon that Cable uses on his 5th skill, or I believe also his tier 3. It's a little bit hazy. I'm actually going to go pull up the game now on my phone. I should have had this open from the beginning, but we're going to go pull up the game now on my phone, and we're going to do a little bit of investigative journalism into whether this is actually his 5th. I think they're basically the same. Yeah, that's the new sneak peek, baby. Let's go. It's really dope. It's really dope. I love all of the little details in this sneak peek. You can tell that the people that make the sneak peeks now, not that they didn't care before, but you can tell that they really care for the game, and they know the game on a pretty intimate level because they're using the assets so fluidly, you know, step by step. So it's really impressive here. If we turn on the SFX and we pop the tier 3, I think the tier 3, he teleports and then he pulls out, he pulls out the mega gun. And you can see it's the same. It's pretty much the same gun because it has this iconic sort of disc at the back. I mean, the shape, of course, is hard to miss, but it's this iconic circle. Here it's lit up. In his 5th skill, it's not lit up. But yeah, it is definitely the tier 3 gun. But I believe it is also the gun that he has with his old uniforms. But maybe it's not. Maybe it's a different version. Let's see here. Once it stops meditating. Stop meditating. I think it's the same one. It is the same one. Look at that. You can even see. Yeah, this is an even better example. So you can see here. Oh, man. So there's 3 lines here. There's 3 lights sort of thing. I'd have to move yeah, so you can see there's 3 lights here, right? There's 3 lights, and then there's a circle. Oh, he's still going, by the way. He's still going in my game. I love this skill. And so you can see the 3 lines there, just above his head, and then you can see the circle at the back there. Okay, he finally lost targeting, so he can't do more. Okay, yeah. So very, very cool little Easter egg here for Cable. And then we see the classic carbonadium tentacles. Should be very, very hype. Now, interestingly enough, for Omega Red, we've been thinking about him for at minimum a year. And the reason why I say at minimum a year is because of Life Seed, this here, and Carbonadium, right? The reference to Carbonadium is very clear. You have Carbonadium in the game, and it's a material for tier 4, and Carbonadium is what his tentacles are made out of. And it's a material that was intended to combat and sort of be equal to adamantium so that Wolverine couldn't just slice them apart, right? Because Omega Red and Wolverine are sort of like mortal enemies. So the introduction of Carbonadium to Marvel Future Fight had basically kicked off the idea and the theory that we would be getting Omega Red sooner or later. And yeah, Carbonadium is only about a year old in the game. It's a little bit, it's like 14 months. It hasn't been that long. But it certainly is nice to finally see Omega Red in the game. Now, speaking of Carbonadium and speaking of Omega Red, there is one very scary elephant in the room. And unfortunately, that elephant's name is Cassie Lang. And that elephant's name is M'Baku. Why am I bringing up these characters? Well, because there's a chance, however small, that the developers screw this one up and they release Omega Red as a tier 2 character. It's not likely, especially with what we've seen recently with Spot being introduced as a Transcendence character by default, but it is still possible. Now, genuinely, I hope that Omega Red is not a Transcendence character. I'm sort of more on... I'm less on the fence, and I'm more on the side of preferring tier 3s nowadays to Transcended characters. There have been a lot of cool Transcended characters in the past, like Makari and Moonstone and Cersei and, you know, Luke Cage and stuff like that. But recently, I feel like Transcended characters are not... I don't know. Like, they're not that special. And I think what makes them special isn't their transcended skill. Like Spider-Gwen's is just kind of whatever, and all of her interesting skills are 1 to 5. Same thing with Gamora. And on the other hand, on the flip side, I really love what they've done with tier 3 characters and what they continue to do with them and how their skills interact with each other and charge up to tier 3 and all that kind of stuff. So I genuinely hope that he is... I mean, I think best case scenario, as hard as this is going to be for some people to hear, I hope that Omega Red is a native tier 2. I think that would be the best case scenario for him to be very powerful, like a native tier 2 that can go to tier 3. I think it's also possible that he's native tier 3. I think, again, that would be kind of difficult to have him competing with Kang right away. It's almost guaranteed that he's going to be a combat type, but we'll have to wait and see. But the combat class, as you can see, if you look, doesn't have very many native tier 2s, right? You have Wolverine, you have Apocalypse, and you have Mr. Fantastic. That's it. Oh, and I guess you have Black Dwarf. Sorry, you have 4. It's actually not bad. The speed class has the fewest. Oh, you also have Gladiator. My bad. 5. So the speed class actually has the fewest native tier 2s, but the combat class is the second highest the second lowest, I should say, for native tier 2s. So he'll probably be like Spot. He'll be a native tier 1 paywall character that we get BIOS for in the future pass or something like that. But I'm sort of hoping privately, well, publicly now, that he's a little bit more than that. But in any event, that's the elephant in the room. Hopefully that doesn't happen. And hopefully we'll be seeing Omega Red in the game very soon. Honestly, I feel like the character model, at least the face, for Omega Red and Sabretooth is very similar. I think they just take out the fangs from Sabretooth and they change that bandana color to red, and you have Omega Red. It's actually really funny. I think they might have modeled Omega Reds first and then did Sabretooth's because it's pretty similar. Hit me up in the comments down below. Let me know what you think about that. Anywho, thank you so much for watching. Omega Red, baby, we did it. And I'll see you in the next one. Take care.